Oops, need to turn on fraps. Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting beta cast by yours truly, JerleMinara, here on behalf of GoToGamers.net. Today we are going to be watching a game that involves Mushi and two others, members, all three of them members of Team Orange Esports, recent champions of, ESTC. We are going to start off by the pick screen. This is, of course, Dota2 Matchmaking. That means it is all pick. There is no captain's mode. There is no bans. Every once in a while there is like a picking strategy for teams, but that's sort of uncommon because you do only have about a minute before you're supposed to get your picks in. So we are watching a replay right now. This is not live, but I have not seen the end. I did not look at what happens, who goes what, etc. So the only information I know is how long the actual game lasts. So I'm as much in the dark as you guys are. I'm excited to see what teams pick. And I think we're going to see a very, very good game. Mushi is always a pleasure to watch because he's such a good carry. He's just dominant. There's a reason he's a legend in Malaysia, and it's not because he's just so pretty. So we are going to take a look at the teams. They are still filtering through and sort of deciding on what they want to go with. We do, in fact, have Night Stalker, Sven, and Mirana. These three players up here for the Radiant are going to be the members of Team Orange, Vengeful Spirit, and Earthshaker. So very, very strong team. A little melee heavy, but not necessarily. Great support in the form of Vengeful Spirit and Earthshaker. Earthshaker, such a strong initiate. Sven with that AE stun, lots of fun for ganking. Really good roaming here, especially when combined with Vengeful Spirit. So I expect to see a very, very aggressive early game style here out of the Radiant, where they're just constantly in the face of the Dire, chasing them down, roaming, moving back and forth, and getting those ridiculous early game kills. Over on the Dire, we can take a look, and they have a slightly more late game centric team. We do see Anti-Mage, Clockwork, Slardar, Witch Doctor, Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet, a very common pick here in the Dota 2 community right now. Obviously, the metagame is very, very friendly towards Furion because he does have that great mobility. He's able to farm so well. He's got such a great late game presence, especially if he's able to get that momentum going. And you see him showing up with all these wonderful items and doing ridiculous amounts of damage, at 25 minutes into the game or whatever. Slardar, obviously a good pick, especially when you do have a very physical damage-oriented team, auto-attack oriented team. Anti-Mage is going to be really benefited by that Slardar ult, Nature's Prophet as well, Clockwork to a lesser degree, just because he does have some assist with those battery assaults. We are going to get into the lanes right now. It does look like we have Night Stalker playing the middle solo against Slardar, a little bit of an unusual pick for a mid-hero for these guys. Looks like we are going to see an invisibility rune that neither team gets, but up here, wow, an attempted first blood that I nearly missed on Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor escaping with about 10 hit points. Huge play right there by Orange, and I feel like I should almost rewind it just to watch it over again, but that just wouldn't be any fun because we would know that Witch Doctor was going to live, and where's the fun in a first blood if you already know how it's going to turn out? Down here, wow! Huge aggression by Orange. They actually picked out Clockwork. I see the Clockwork X down there stuck in the woods, and then a bad thing happens, and we get a first blood for Sven, picking up that kill for 405 gold. Clockwork getting pinned up against these trees up here and just crushed by that combination of the arrow and that stun from Sven. So over in the middle lane, looks like we are going to see Slardar and Night Stalker sort of dancing back and forth, doing a little bit of farming back and forth. Down here, it looks like Mushi is going to be on his own, just getting that freedom to farm, get those last hits, get that gold up. So, one thing I do want to point out is this is a very unusual and weird combination here. Like, going with the Vengeful Spirit Earthshaker lane is a little unusual because it's two support heroes. They're both in lane. Like, you're not getting the benefit of them roaming, and instead we do see this Sven sort of a little bit active, moving back and forth, looking for an opportunity to get a gank in on this Slardar. I think we may see something happening here. We do see Night Stalker dropping that Void, doing a little bit of nuking damage. Sven positioning himself down at the bottom of this ramp. Earthshaker and Vengeful Spirit doing a great job of interrupting that farm right there. And, just continuing to be nuisances. So we are seeing just a very, very hyper-aggressive style out of Orange this game. They did go for that first blood at like 90 seconds. to see Slardar picking up an invisibility. I don't know if he's going to be able to make all that much use of it. No, he does not even pop his stun, just losing the invisibility on an auto attack. I can't help but feel that might have been a mistake. There's an opportunity there, especially when you get a rune like invisibility, to just go in and do some damage. If we check back on the top lane, we do see that Vengeful Spirit is continuing to harass, just really annoying the heck out of this anti-mage. Anti-mage only at about 8 creep kills right now at 3 minutes in. Wishing he could get more farm, but not really being able to do so. Over in the middle lane, still just continued farming from the Night Stalker. If we look at the creep kills right now, we do see that Night Stalker is in charge. He's at about 13 creep kills. Slardar right behind with about 10. That's pretty normal for a game. Wow, that's not normal though. Clockwork getting caught way overextended. He does get a stun from the arrow as well as from the Sven. He's going to pop those cogs, but there's just no way to get us away from that final arrow from Mirana. Once the arrow's in the air, once that auto attack is flying, there's no escape, there's no hope. He just is dead. That brings the score up to 2-0 for Orange. And they are continuing their relentless assault upon these people, upon these random matchmaking people. Night Stalker continuing to just get in there, get that farm, and be a real pain in the butt for this Slardar. Those nukes are coming out hot and heavy. Of course, Night Stalker does have a bottle, so he does have the ability to refill his mana pretty easily upon demand. In terms of wards, right now we only have one ward from the Defiant so far. It is covering that top rune area, as you can see on the mini-map. They do have vision there, and we are going to see Clockwork checking through that forest. Maybe a little bit of a mistake. I do not think it's wise for him to venture into that forest on his own. You know, it's something where there's just... Mirana and Sven have demonstrated they're happy to gank him, and he needs to be very, very careful when going into the woods. We are going to see another attack here on that Witch Doctor. Excuse me. Witch Doctor taking a lot of damage. He probably is going to go down here. Vengeful Spirit can get off an auto attack. Not enough mana on the Earthshaker to do a stun. Nature's Prophet teleporting in. We are going to see Earthshaker finish off the Witch Doctor with an auto attack, and Anti-Mage gets that Vengeful Spirit. 1-for-1 trade. Not the best, not the worst. Sort of comes out to be a wash, and oh god, no. Here comes Clockwork, caught again out of position. He does not have a teleport. It would not help him if he did. There are stuns. There is nasty stuff. He's trying to take damage from the tower as well, thinking maybe if I just die to the tower, yeah, it's going to split my gold. So 220 gold split between the two heroes comes out to be a little bit less than they were probably hoping for. Night Stalker maybe forgetting that he has those boots on that courier. Yeah, there. He's going to move it forward. Opting not to use the shield, which is a little bit risky, but obviously, since Slardar is a melee hero, he's not too much in, or the courier's not too much in danger, so that does work out well for them. Looks like using that courier to refill his bottle, sending it back, very, very wise play there. Vengeful Spirit continuing to be a nuisance for Anti-Mage. Unfortunately, they've got to watch out because, you know, Vengeful Spirit is a couple levels behind. She is only level 3 compared to level 5, and as the game progresses, things may get a little bit more difficult for her to stay in that lane and, you know, maintain parity, because Anti-Mage is going to get ahead and he's going to be able to do a lot of damage and take out that mana. You can already see it happening right there. Just a couple hits from his melee attacks and bam, Earthshaker out of mana. Does turn to night though. It looks like Slardar has hit level 6. Night Stalker very wisely taking the opportunity to use his ultimate as soon as it hits night. That's exactly what you want to do. You want to be making sure that you're using your ultimate when it's the nighttime as a Night Stalker, because that extends the night and you're not interrupting the overall cycle, so you don't lose out on time. Over here, Clockwork getting caught again by the double stun team, Sven and Mirana. Sven catching him in the river, Mirana with a follow-up arrow. Arrow doing so much stun if you're far away when you get hit. And it looks like Slardar actually is going to get caught here a little bit by that Vengeful Spirit before being able to retreat. So as I was saying is... you know, that arrow coming out of Mirana is just such a huge stun, and with Sven sort of roaming in that forest river area, if you can get that initiate stun, Mirana can actually aim an arrow at him from a distance. That's going to do a follow-up stun, and bad things are going to happen. Up here, we do see Night Stalker going for a gank on this Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor taking a lot of damage. He's down at about 250 health out of 600. Great Sprout by Furion will protect that Witch Doctor. Is Witch Doctor going to be able to escape? We do not have enough mana for a stun on that Vengeful Spirit. Just enough mana for one more nuke from that Night Stalker. I do not think it's going to be enough. They're going to have to run as fast as they can. There are 4 members of the Radiant up here. We do see Vengeful Spirit going down. Night Stalker making a run for it. Anti-Mage has managed to drain all the mana, and Slardar does have yes, does have enough mana for a stun. We are going to see Night Stalker go down here. A little bit out of position on the part of WTR. You know, he should have been a little bit more aware of that gank, and unfortunately he went in too soon, and 4 members of the team, of the Dire team, were able to retaliate. Ended up bringing 2 kills to the Radiant, and you know, if we look at who got those kills, we got a kill on Slaughter and a kill on Anti-Mage. Obviously the kill on Slaughter is not going to be all that game changing, but Anti-Mage is here. You just want to make sure he does not get those items. So looks like Sven is actually going to cover this mid lane for a little while, melee on melee, giving Nightstalker the ability to roam and do some damage in the interim. Looks like Nature's Prophet is going to come up and maybe try and get this Sven in the middle lane. Slaughter does have a little bit of mana and is picking up a regen over here. Clockwork taking a lot of damage from that Nightstalker and Mirana. Clockwork may be positioned to go down again. Yes, I think he will. Mirana with the auto attack finishing him off. Clockwork throwing out a random flare and failing. Someone in IRC, shoutouts to Mr. Z4, letting me know that WTR is also known as Winter. That's kind of duh. I mean, I knew he was in orange, and that's the only thing it could be. Wow, Earthshaker getting caught here, getting off a big ult, dropping Nature's Prophet. Lots of damage to Anti-Mage. Is Anti-Mage going to be able to go down? The answer is probably no. Anti-Mage blinking out after finishing off Earthshaker. Slardar doing a lot of damage. He has not Fairy Fired. There goes the Fairy Fire. Excuse me, amplified damage on the Vengeful Spirit. Yes, just enough mana for a stun. It is going to be enough to finish off this Vengeful Spirit. Maybe. Can he swing it? Yes, he does, but he goes down in retaliate. Goes down to the tower. The tower does a lot of DPS in Dota, and for those of you who are from Heroes, New Earth, or League of Legends, it's a very different experience here in Dota. Things just, it hurts to get hit by that tower. You need to be very careful. If you tank it, bad things will happen. So down in the bottom lane, we do see Nightstalker doing a little bit of farming. Some harassment being applied to Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor needs to be very careful. It is night. It's going to be night for quite a bit longer. And, you know, so much damage will come out of Winter here with that Void. Void does 335 damage on an 8-second cooldown. Plus the slow, plus the, oh my god, there goes Clockwork again. Sort of just a chuckle-inducing whelp. You know, what can you do about it? So we are going to see Slardar taking a lot of damage here, maybe in a position to be taken out. He does get a stun that stops Mirana, but oops, Sven's stun hits harder and does a lot more damage. Nightstalker going to get the kill there on Slardar. Slardar doing nothing to save himself. It would not have been a good idea to hang out there. Someone in IRC asking, does the tower deal damage? Yes, the tower deals lots of damage. It's 110 damage a hit before mitigation on like a point. It's like a 1 point something cooldown. I forget exactly what the number is. I'd have to look. But yes, lots of damage out of the tower. You don't want to deal with it. So, in terms of the overall score of the game, we can go ahead and take a look at where things are at for the Radiant. We have the Radiant at about 10 kills. Wow, Nightstalker getting way destroyed up there while I'm looking at the scoreboard. 4 members of the Dire just completely pushing him into the dirt, and down he goes. Let me go ahead and review the score, though, just so that we can get that taken care of. 10 for the Radiant, 6 for the Dire. They are working hard on that comeback, and we do see Anti-Mage with 4 kills, 0 deaths, 1 assist, which is exactly where it needs to be. Now, the thing where I'm disappointed right now, hold that thought. Going to see him big engage here. Double stun on Slardar. Slardar getting caught by that arrow, followed up by the Fisher. Cogs coming out of the Clockwork. Will it be enough to save his buddy? I think the answer might be no, but the answer is, in fact, yes. Slardar is going to get away. Will's Clockwork? Yes, he will. No problem. He's going to duck back into the trees. Here come the teleports in. Nature's Prophet jumping in. Big paralyzing cast from Witch Doctor, bouncing back and forth. Vengeful Spirit going down to Nature's Prophet. Nightstalker coming in, but a little too late to do much. They're going to have to be very careful how they engage here. That Maledict can do a lot of damage. Wow, great stun by Sven. Catches both Anti-Mage and Nature's Prophet. Down goes Anti-Mage. Mega kill for Mirana for Mushi. He does get off that Starstorm and does a double hit. We do see Nature's Prophet retreating into there, and he's going to teleport back to that base. Great play by both teams there. A little bit sloppy on the part of that Anti-Mage hanging out with only 30% of his health. He should not be doing that, especially when you have these super stunned teams available on the enemy team. So over here, as I was about to say, before the players got busy fighting, so we do see Anti-Mage only has about 35 creep kills. That is only about 3 per minute. That's a little lower than we would like him to see. It's very important that Anti-Mage gets that farm. Yeah, he's off to a good start with the 4 kills. And wow, here comes Sven. Sven staying too far, getting stunned, getting cogged, getting killed. Clockwork getting killed in retaliation. That arrow from Mirana doing so much damage, and Earthshaker actually finishing him off with that aftershock on accident. I'm sure that they would prefer to get that kill onto Mushi, onto Mirana. He does already have a Yasha as well as power treads and a Wraith Band. So anything they can do to increase his farm and gold income is going to be very, very helpful for them in the long run. If we take a look at the gold differential, we see the Radiant have taken a strong lead, but not an overpowering one. They are up about 2,000 gold, 15,000 to 13,000. At this point in the game, it's significant, but it's not mind-blowing. It does indicate that they've got the upper hand right now, and the Dire are going to have to look for better ways to engage right now. We do see a swap coming out of Vengeful Spirit as well as a stun. Witch Doctor just getting absolutely destroyed there. And basically his biggest mistake was hanging out in that middle lane, seeing Vengeful Spirit, seeing Mirana, and deciding, hey, I'm going to try and farm. You just cannot do things like that if you want to survive. Looks like we are going to have our anti-mage disconnecting again, having some connection problems. This is the second time he has disconnected. Hopefully he gets that under control. Of course, he already did or didn't. I have no idea. This is, of course, a replay. We are looking at Mushi +3 versus random Premade in the matchmaking system here in Dota 2. Sorry, guys, just checking my IRC, talking about all the exciting things that are happening. There's Anti-Mage. He is back. Hello, friend. Good to see that this game did continue on 5 versus 5. If we look at the farming tallies, we do see Mirana taking a small lead. She has about 50 creep kills. Nature's Prophet right behind with about 45. Overall, we haven't seen Nature's Prophet do a lot of great farming. I would like to see better farming out of him. It is very important that he is a hero that, gets farmed. He does have a Hand of Midas. He's got a Ring of Basilius. And then we can actually go ahead and take a moment and look through items. We've got an Urn, Power Treads on Night Stalker, as well as a bottle. Nothing too crazy or wild. Over here we see Sven with a couple of the Gauntlets of Strength. Arcane Boots, that's a good pick. Mirana looking to go for Manta Style, probably. Blade of Alacrity. Why does she have a second Blade of Alacrity? Have to think about that one. Yasha, Boots, Wards for Vengeful Spirit. Arcane Boots for Earthshaker. Up here, it looks like we may have a fight. Earthshaker looking to initiate on Clockwork and Nature's Prophet. Decides not to. He does not have the backup or the killing capability. Over at Anti-Mage, we see he's got a Poor Man's Shield. He's got a Perseverance. He's got Boots of Speed. Obviously, Anti-Mage probably going for that Battle Fury. Needs to get his farm up. He's only got about 600 gold in the bank. Someone asked, do you recommend saving up enough money to buy the whole item? Or just buying the item out, or buying it piece by piece? The answer is buy it piece by piece. The reason for that is because there are two types of gold in Dota. You have reliable gold, which you get from those hero kills. That's gold that you cannot lose on death. Wow, Vengeful Spirit, what are you doing? You're way out of position. You are in so much trouble. Really bad Maledict by that Witch Doctor there. Did not do basically any damage. We are going to see an ultimate in from Clockwork. Vengeful Spirit probably going to die here, despite the fact that Witch Doctor engaged poorly, and not enough help from her team to be able to save her. Going back to the thought there, I'm going to throw this undirected for a moment while I pontificate. The reason you buy each individual piece is because you use up your unreliable gold first. Unreliable is the gold type that is consumed when you die, so you lose gold when you die. You only keep your reliable gold. That's always protected against death. So if you make sure you buy items, you're exposing yourself to less risk. So, you don't have to, there's not a danger of, wow, big ultimate out of Earthshaker. Is it going to be enough to kill anyone? I think the answer is probably no. He does not fisher off that heavily damaged Clockwork. Tower going to town on Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor taking a lot of hits. He is going to be able to retreat. We do see a teleport back by Orange. Witch Doctor actually able to finish off Earthshaker with that Maledict. And Slardar getting the assist there. Continued good play by both teams. Earthshaker with that well-timed ultimate, trying to save things. And, so to go back to my point, buying pieces in general is good. Which pieces you buy is, depends on the item. As someone in chat said, BKB, obviously you generally want to go for the Ogre Axe first, because you need that, you're getting it for survivability, so you want the extra health. We're going to see a stun here, double stun. Great arrow by Mirana, and then a nuke by Night Stalker, just instantly destroying that poor Anti-Mage. He is so squishy in the early game. A little bit of typey type. Do you see Witch Doctor looking to maybe do a flank here? No, just getting some wards down. 3 members of the Radiant team pushing up here, pressuring that tower. If we look at the tower count, we do see that there are no towers down for the Radiant, and they have managed to kill 2 of the Dire towers, both the bottom and the middle outer towers. Over here, though, I think, yeah, Sven is going to get caught here. He's going to take a whole lot of damage. Ultimate in from that Clockwork doing a lot of damage. Stun being used by that Sven, but I do not think it will be enough. No, Nature's Prophet gets that last hit. Ultimate doing a lot of damage. We're going to see an ultimate coming out of Night Stalker. Is he going to be able to get away? I think the answer is probably no. There's just too much stun here. That Slithering Crush is off cooldown. Cogs coming out. Yeah, blast. Down goes Night Stalker. Wow, great play by the Dire there, getting in on recognizing the fact that the Radiant players were out of position and capitalizing on it very effectively. For those of you who have asked about lag, if you're on the live stream right now, make sure you turn down your quality to 360p. That might help. This is, of course, all streamed in HD 720p, streaming across the internet along with my beautiful, wonderful voice. Over here in the middle lane, we do see that Earthshaker and Vengeful Spirit are sort of continuing to hang out together. They have made such a good pair. We do not see any response from the Radiant team to protect this bottom tower. No teleports in, nobody running in that direction. They probably just assumed that there really was nothing that they could have done, and I think that's probably correct. Not a whole lot of damage already done to the Dire team, and obviously teleporting in, not a decision you want to make at that point. Up in the top lane, it looks like we're going to see some pressure, an attempt to kill that final outer tower in this top lane. It is at about half health. We do see Nature's Prophet moving in through this forest here, looking for the opportunity to get a little bit of farm done and maybe possibly initiate on Night Stalker. Does look like the Radiant players are going to move up along this line right here, coming up the river and getting into position to defend this tower. Great play by them. You know, it is so important to make sure that you are defending those towers, especially when you notice a push coming. You can't always do it, but it is a good idea. We do have an invisible Slardar moving around in here. Nature's Prophet is actually going to accidentally sprout Slardar out of there. An ultimate on Earthshaker that I really don't like. Does a lot of damage to Nature's Prophet, but not much else. With big ultimates like that, you've got to choose who you're using. Mirana does get Witch Doctor down with that Starstorm of hers, and we're going to see Slardar sprint away. Will she be able to catch him with an arrow? The answer is no. Good shot, but just nobody heading up that way. Missed ultimate by Clockwork. Oh, you hate to see that. It costs 150 mana. That's a big amount of mana. And, you know, it is on a decent cooldown until you skill it up. Over here we see Anti-Mage picking up a kill with that ultimate of his, finishing off Mirana, but Clockwork will go down, getting a little bit too excited and rushing into the enemy team. Those double stuns are just so crucial, and when you rush in like that, you just die. As we see Slardar nearly killing Night Stalker, but Night Stalker surviving. Nearly is not enough in the world of Dota, and it really doesn't matter how hard you try if you end up dead. So why engage like that? Rule of thumb, don't run into groups of enemy players that are significantly larger than you are. So if there's 3 of them and you are 1 person, and I'm assuming you're 1 person unless you're playing Meepo, who's not currently implemented, don't go rushing in. And even if you are playing Meepo, don't go rushing in, because there's still 3 heroes, and they have 3 times the abilities you do. It's just not going to end well. With all that ranting aside, we're going to take a look at the gold counts. We do see the Radiant still ahead. They are at about 27k compared to about 24k overall. Still maintaining that lead, but not, you know, not cripplingly so. Good farm coming out of, well, mediocre farm coming out of Anti-Mage and Night Stalker. Anti-Mage at about 4 creeps per minute, so a little bit closer to the goal that he would want to have. Looks like an arrow's just barely going to miss that Nature's Prophet. Earthshaker with his Blink Dagger is going to blink forward, stun. Nature's Prophet has no way to escape here. He does not have, his teleport is on cooldown. He is going to go down. No, his teleport is not on cooldown. I was showing the wrong thing. Wow! Nature's Prophet escaping with about 18 health. 1 melee swing left. Gets out just in the nick of time. While we were looking at that fight up there, it does look like Nature's Prophet, Night Stalker got Witch Doctor probably somewhere in the forest over here. We still see no wards from the Sentinel, which is a little bit unusual. Oh, excuse me. We do have 1 ward down here covering that bottom rune spot. Wards from the Dire on both rune spots, so good play there. I would like to see better warding by the Sentinel just to keep themselves informed. They may feel that because they have the skill advantage and because they've had the upper hand so far in this fight, they're just not too concerned about warding and that sort of thing. Looks like 3 members of the Dire are going to come in here, catching the Radiant off guard. Earthshaker taking a good bit of damage. He does get ultimated on by Clockwork. Earthshaker getting off a big ultimate doing a lot of damage to the people surrounding him. We see a paralyzing cast coming out of Witch Doctor. Will Mirana be able to get away? I think the answer is yes. She does use that leap and beats it, runs for the hills. Night Stalker giving his life to protect her. Double kill for Anti-Mage. Here comes Sven. Sven finishing off Clockwork with that stun, and here comes Slardar trying to return the favor. He gets a stun on that Sven. Paralyzing cast bouncing back and forth. Here comes the ultimate from Witch Doctor, but there is no Maledict on either of these heroes. He's not going to be able to do anything. Mirana actually finishing him off with the help of a tower shot. A little bit of a misstep there by the Witch Doctor, getting a little too excited. Now Anti-Mage tanking the tower. Why are you tanking the tower? Don't do that. It really doesn't matter because the tower's so low on health. He is able to blink back and disjoint. Still, he is actually at about 3.4k. Obviously deciding, hey, I'm just going to hang on to this gold and risk it on death. I don't actually want to buy anything because that would make way too much sense. Over here, it looks like we're going to see Mirana actually switching to Lothars. Lothars plus Yasha plus probably building into Manta after that is a very possible outcome. You know, when you see two Blades of Alacrity, you can sort of conclude that something like that is happening. It looks like Night Stalker probably building for that BKB. Vanguard and Arcane Boots on Sven. Mirana actually with a Diffusal Blade, excuse me. That's way more obvious than Lothars because Lothars doesn't use two Blades of Alacrity, and I just mixed up those items. Oops. Diffusal Blade on Mirana as well as Yasha. Power Treads, Wand, nothing too exciting. Anti-Mage with a Lincoln Sphere. An interesting but I think viable choice here. A lot of single target stuff from the enemy team. And an early Roshan, 24 minutes. Well, or a medium-ishly early Roshan. But at about 24 minutes, will the Sentinel be able to notice and respond accordingly? I think the answer is no. Roshan going down so fast, Anti-Mage will be able to pick up that Aegis. And, you know, the combination of Aegis plus Lincoln's plus Shield equals, yeah, piss off. You're not going to bother me all that much at all. Ultimate in on Vengeful Spirit from Clockwork, correctly determining that she is the softest target. You see a big cast out of the Witch Doctor, bouncing back and forth. Maledict on that Sven. Sven having no chance here. He's taking so much damage from the ultimate. Full channel on that ultimate. Mirana does manage to get Clockwork in the back. She is doing a good bit of damage. Witch Doctor tanking a couple hits, and here comes the Anti-Mage porting in. Sprout misses. Earthshaker ultimate. Earthshaker Fisher. Mirana DPS, and Anti-Mage chasing down that Earthshaker, finishing him off. Is he going to blink away? The answer is yes. You see a silent attempt by that Night Stalker is not going to be enough, and I think we may see... No, Anti-Mage, no, you're way too eager here. Blinking back, he does have that urn on him. It will not finish him off. A little bit too much there. That was just excessive. A lot of damage he took when he could have been farming. And yeah, it just did not work out quite as he wanted to. Slardar gets away as well. Slardar actually has picked up a medallion. Good choice. He is not the primary target in these fights. We see that some counter warding has been done by the Dire team. They managed to pick out the Sentinel wards down at the bottom, and they have a couple sentry wards to prevent those ganks with the Mirana ultimate and with the smoke of deceit. So we're going to go ahead and do some item checks here, just to see what's going on. Looks like Vanguard, Blade Mail coming for Sven. Probably a good choice. You know, that is obviously the active form of Blade Mail. That is just something that he turns on and it helps. Blink Dagger, Arcane Boots on that Earthshaker. Over on Anti-Mage, he's still got a lot of farm, and he's still low on health. I don't like him running around like that. I think that is a mistake, because I think if he gets caught, he's going to go down so fast with only 400 health. He realizes and he uses that ward to recognize that there are enemies coming. He does teleport out. Good play there. Good decision there. On Clockwork, we see a Hooded Defiance in construction, under construction. Medallion on Slardar, as we'd already talked about. Witch Doctor working on that Aghanim Scepter for that ultimate Nature's Prophet with the Aghanim Scepter, with the Power Treads, with the Hand of Midas and Ring of Basilius. So getting his farm on there. Blink Dagger for Slardar. Good pick there. Witch Doctor getting caught here by this Fisher. He is so dead, it hurts to think about it. Sort of a wasted charge by that, wasted urn charge by that Night Stalker. I don't think that was really all that necessary. Anti-Mage, seeing his Lincolns really come to great fruition. Ultimate coming out of Earthshaker with a follow-up Fisher catching that Nature's Prophet, but Anti-Mage blinked away, and I think we may see Night Stalker go down here. He does turn invisible just in time with that ultimate from Mirana coming into play very, very well. snare in the form of that diffusal blade on that anti-mage. Is he going to blink out? Yes, he blinks right out of the arrow. Clockwork ultimate in a creep and not able to do a whole lot. Meanwhile, down in the bottom lane, Slardar actually missing a stun. I'm not sure who he was trying to catch. Anti-mage feigning back and forth with that Mirana. He is going to get this Earthshaker up here. Earthshaker out of mana, out of anything resembling help. He is going to fire off a charge from the urn from Night Stalker, and he gets a mega kill. Slardar finishing off that Night Stalker. Huge play by the Defiant here. The score is now 25-24 with the Defiant only 1 kill behind after a long game where they've been fine. And for the first time in the game, they do have the gold lead. Absolutely great control by these Defiant players. Staying spread out, making sure to only get hit a couple at a time by these ultimates, that we see, by the stuns. Sven using his stun on Slardar, and Slardar alone. We are going to see Sven go down here. Slardar should be able to. No, Slardar's out of mana for that stun. I don't think it's going to matter, though. He just does so much damage. Attempted swap from that Ventral Sphere may actually, yes, it does save that Sven. The ultimated, or the Sceptered up ultimate from Nature's Prophet, not quite enough to finish him off. Gets very, very close, but it just did not make it. It is, in fact, the Dire. I may have said the Defiant. I did play Rift for quite some time, so if I do say the Defiant, just pretend I said the Dire or the Scourge. Whichever works better for you. Obviously, the Scourge is copyrighted, so I can't say that. Looks like we are going to see maybe a smoke up and initiate here. No one actually with smoke. Is someone bringing smoke? The answer is, in fact, no. So they're just going to hang out in here and look for an opportunity to gank in the forest or in this middle lane. Starting to see a little bit of warding by the Sentinel. They do have this top ramp covered with both a sentry and a regular ward. Up here, it looks like Vengeful Spirit is going to move in. He's going to get caught right there. Great cancel by Slardar, canceling in this game. A little bit tricky because you can't... Wow, counter gank here. We see an ultimate coming out of Earthshaker. Arrow stun on Slardar. Starstorm, Nature's Prophet takes out Vengeful Spirit. Clockwork taking out Earthshaker, and Witch Doctor gets Mirana. See this fully channeled ultimate getting its entire burst off. It does so much damage. Double kill for that Witch Doctor. Both Night Stalker and Mirana going down. Now it's only Sven left. Anti-Mage waiting for that stun to go off before blinking in. Very, very wise. But he's still got to be careful since that Sven with his ultimate up will still do enough to kill him in a couple hits, even without the stun. We are going to see Anti-Mage chase here, and I think Sven's going to be able to get away here just because he does have those boots. Wow, interrupting, eating that stun with his Link, and such a great ability, such a great choice of items. Sven is in a lot of trouble here. He's got to pull out a stop. He does not have enough mana. Yes, he just barely has enough mana to teleport. Will he be able to get out? Yes, he does! Total of 50 health on him as he retreats. So close, and I bet they're wishing they had a stun or maybe a Clockwork that knew how to use his battery assault. We see that Clockwork is currently 110 and 21. Obviously, that's a lot of assists, but come on, Clockwork, give me some battery assault. I don't think I've seen him using it all that much in this game. If we look at the status of the game right now, it's about 27-28. So again, the Dire are ahead. They've got their gold lead. They've got the kill lead. They're actually increasing their gold lead. They're about 44,000 up compared to 36,000. And Anti-Mage now jungling in the enemy area. Has picked up a Blade of Alacrity, a couple of different directions he could go with that item. Earthshaker getting caught in here, but he does wisely blink away before anything went bad. Question was asked, since the Sven stun is AE and Lincoln's blocks targeted, if the Sven targets a nearby unit instead of the unit with Lincoln's, will the unit with Lincoln's get stunned? The answer is yes, I believe. I'll have to double check that, and I will talk to my Dota2 monkeys, the ones that know all these information, but I'm 95% sure the answer is yes. We see a double stun again on that Slardar. Arrow from Mirana doing a lot of damage, a lot of stun. Double stun here. Yes, in fact, the answer is yes, as we just saw. Sven did get a stun off on that Slardar. Slardar getting caught up against the trees here. He is going to go down. Anti-Mage going down as well. There pops the Aegis. Mirana drops Witch Doctor. Ultimate in from Clockwork. Earthshaker just barely getting out of there with, looks like a Force Staff, but I don't think we have one. Mushi doing so much damage here. He is going to get caught and taken out by that Anti-Mage with his ultimate, and Anti-Mage just on a rampage here. Godlike Ultra Kill with, is he going to be able to get, yes he does! Beyond Godlike on a rampage. That's a genocide for that AM. So bloody good. So, for those wondering, yes, it will stun the AM if someone next to him gets stunned, but if the hammer is thrown at the AM, it will be blocked by the Lincolns. Right now, the Radiant are in very dire straits, but and they are going to have to sort of find a response here because all of a sudden this anti-mage is farmed. He's got 3.5k in the bank. He's got a Linken's. He's got power treads. He did not get that tower kill, but at this point it really does not matter. He's got a lot of power in him right now, and we are going to see this tower go down pretty soon as well. Anti-mage just getting in there and dropping it right away. Taking a look at some numbers here, if we look at the hard numbers, we see Nature's Prophet at about 400 gold per minute. Anti-mage at about 430. Anti-mage getting that tower kill there. He is going to teleport back, and it looks like he's going to go shopping over here on Night Stalker. He's got a couple different items that seem to be going in different directions. Ogre's Club not really comboing with anything that you would get from Vitality. That Vitality booster for. We do see Anti-Mage actually ported back, picked up a Mana Style outright, did not need to buy any of the pieces, just straight up said, here's gold, I'm a baller, give me those items. So Anti-Mage in a position where he's going to be very, very hard to control, very hard to get locked down. Looks like Witch Doctor a little bit away from, we'll go ahead and use, that's a little too interrupting. Nature's Prophet getting interrupted on his teleport out. He is going to go down here. That's stun. And, oh, the arrow from Mushi just barely slipping by him. Missing a little bit down in the bottom area. We do see it looks like Witch Doctor was able to take out Earthshaker. Earthshaker's standing up on high. She's linked up there or something. I have no idea how she got up there, but you know what? It looks like we've got a whole team thing up here. 3 members of the Dire hanging out on top. They are, in fact, kings of the world. That's how they roll. Party on the cliff, as Jad or Slordar says. Over here, though, it looks like Anti-Mage is going to pop his Mana Style and rush in there. He does nearly die. 18 health left. That ultimate coming out of Witch Doctor channeling pretty hard. That stun's going to interrupt him, and it looks like there's a double damage on this Mirana. Witch Doctor has to be very careful. I think Mirana probably should have just stayed and killed him. There was really no need to bump back there, and you know, Clockwork's still a little bit stuck. It looks like Witch Doctor has finished his Scepter off. Going through the items, Blade Mail, Vanguard, Arcane Boots for Sven, Mana Style, Diffusal for Mirana, as well as Power Treads, Blink for Earthshaker, Mana Style, Linken's Boots, Arcane Boots, Hooded Defiance. Looks like Mirana was able to just kill that Clockwork while he was stuck up there. Slaughter has a Blink Dagger and a Medallion and some boots. Good picks there. Witch Doctor with not a whole lot besides an Aghanim Scepter. I feel like he probably should have gone for something a little bit more useful just because there are a lot of stuns and interrupts on the Radiant team. I just don't feel that he's going to be able to take full advantage of his ultimate. Night Stalker just getting absolutely annihilated there. Anti-Mage eating a full length duration stun. And with this Earthshaker stun, we are going to see Anti-Mage go down. Mushi with a double kill, interrupting that godlike streak, and suddenly things are turning around. Things looking a little bit more positive for the Radiant. Looks like another kill for... No, Vengeful Spirit's going to take that kill, a little bit strangely. Mirana maybe getting a kill. No, Sven getting a kill on Nature's Prophet. Counter Genocide, only trading 1 Night Stalker for 5 members of the enemy team. It's always a trade that you are happy to make as a player and a gamer. You know, they do like... picking up those kills with relatively little risk. So we are going to see a little bit of farming, and I'd like to see some pushing done by the Sentinel. This top tower has been here at about 30% health for almost the entire game. Come on, guys, get in there, take those items, get your hands on that tasty gold. It's gold for everyone. So much fun. Why are you not farming it? If we take a look at the gold differential, it looks like the Dire are up about 10k. So despite that strong play by the Sentinel where they came back and were able to get that Genocide, there's just a lot more farm on the Sentinel, and we can, or on the Dire, and we can see that in the form of, you know, all of their heroes having lots of kills and fewer deaths. You know, and I'm not entirely sure like where the differential is coming from, because equal score, roughly equal farm. The big thing, I guess, is that they only have 1 hero over 100 at about 144 Mirana, and you know they've got 2 heroes over 100 for the Dire. The other thing that's going to be playing in that gold differential is, of course, the towers. And if we look, you know, they've gotten 3 more towers. They've gotten Roshan once. They are going for a second attempt, and we will see if they can get in there. Looks like we do see Anti-Mage saving up for another item. He is about 800 gold right now. He does have that Aegis. And will they be able to find and push an engagement? They've got to know that they're close to a victory here. Just because that Anti-Mage and his farm is so good. It looks like the Sentinel are going to push this top lane quite a bit. Fortifications coming out of the Dire, trying to pretend the area. And looks like Nightstalker taking a couple auto attacks from Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage using his Lincolns to survive that Vengeful Spirit stun. Good play there. Ultimate coming out of Mirana, trying to allow them to reposition. Good to see Slardar a little bit isolated up here. He does eat a stun there, as well as a Void from Nightstalker. Slardar is going to go down here, and Nature's Prophet doing a lot of damage to creeps, which is not all that effective. Earthshaker with a big ultimate, with a lot of damage to everyone, but that ultimate from the Witch Doctor does so much damage. Anti-Mage getting Earthshaker, Vengeful Spirit getting Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet buying back. Sven gets Witch Doctor, and it looks like Clockwork's going to go down here too. That Blade Mail is so effective at keeping the bad guys away. Anti-Mage needs to run here. It's not worth getting that one kill. He is going to go down if he does not retreat. He does realize that. Nightstalker coming back in with a Void. We're going to see Nature's Prophet go down here as well, and I can't help but feel that that entire fight was completely bungled by the Dire. They should not have done that. They should not have lost that fight. Not like that. So it looks like they were able to pull back some gold differential. They're only about 8,000 up. And, you know, I think that we're going to see the Radiant push in and try and drop this this tower without much contest. You know, it is at about half health, and there's just not... Witch Doctor and Anti-Mage are not going to be able to hold off this combination, not with the slows, not with the stuns, and also not with the DPS. So that does go down. It looks like Sven got the kill there. 500 gold for him. And I'd like to see Earthshaker farming some of this bottom area, or seeing a teleport in from Mirana to farm that bottom area. Right as I say that, we do see Mirana looking to teleport down there, get in there, farm with that Starstorm. That will be a lot of gold for her, and that will help her catch up. She does have an Eagle Song. Probably will be going for that Butterfly in the near future. Firing off her Starstorm, and then backing off, trying to make sure that she does not end up tanking that creep wave. Very good play there. You just do not want to tank creeps. You never, especially during the night when you don't know where the Nightstalker is, and they do not have vision of him, and they have not had vision of him for some time. So we're going to see Mirana farm this bottom lane right now. Things are pretty close. I mean, there's a big gold differential in favor of the Dire. They do have a strong advantage overall, but the Radiant have really demonstrated that they're more controlled in team fights, and they have, you know, the questionably better heroes for team fights. That's Sven Ultimate, Sven Warcry, Swap and Stun, Damage Aura. You know, there's a lot of things that come together for the Sentinel team that really don't have, like, the Dire don't have answers for. And so the Dire have to be very, very careful, like, how they move forward here. They need to be getting more aggressive warding. We need wards here. We need wards here for the Dire so they can keep an eye on that forest, look for opportunities to catch heroes that are on their own, and try and get in there. If they're not going to do that, they're just going to end up dying because they can't win team fights right now. Anti-Mage, great carry, but unfortunately the rest of the team is not really suited to, you know, supporting him in those carrying situations. Earthshaker Ultimate plus Sven Stun plus, you know, all the other stuff is just going to be better than Slardar and Clockwork. That's just sort of how it goes, especially with the way things have developed in terms of items and stuff. Nightstalker looking to be going for... never mind. So it looks like we may have some push in here on that tower. It does have about 75% of its HP. They've done a little bit of damage. They are going to try and get engaged, get in there, do some damage. Looks like the illusions for Anti-Mage moving around in that top lane. Nightstalker feinting back and forth, knowing that he needs to be very careful not to move out, not to get engaged. We do see that ward that I was asking for. Good. Unfortunately, it's from the wrong team. I would have liked to see that being a Dire ward, but you know what? Whatever. No big deal. It's, you know, not like they really need to gank or anything. Both teams just farming and pushing these lanes as far in as they can. It looks like the bottom tower is in fact at about half health already, just from the constant assault of creeps in there. Great job by the Dire making sure that those lanes are pushed, and you know that allows them to have Dota is a game about pressure, and wow, what are you doing, Sven? Sven getting caught way out of position here. Paralyzing cast coming out of Witch Doctor. Maledict, where's the rest of the team? There's the stun from Slardar. He does have Blade Mail up, but is it going to be enough to keep him alive? That stun does interrupt Witch Doctor, and Sven just terrible mistake there. He should not. He went to buy a Reaver, and that was just not worth it. It cost him his streak. That's a lot of gold. See an ultimate in on a Mirana illusion. Not a great choice there. Slardar catching this Earthshaker. Earthshaker getting a little bit rescued by that Vengeful Spirit, but it will not be enough. Earthshaker does go down to Clockwork. We see a Sprout by that Nature's Prophet, and this is exactly what needs to happen. Is we need to see them looking for these opportunities to catch people out of position and exploiting them. Because Dota is a game about pressure, and now that they've got people dead, they're able to apply pressure in so many different directions. They can come down this top lane, they can come up this side lane, and even if it's only creeps, hold that thought. We see Nature's Prophet getting totally destroyed by Night Stalker and Mirana. Why is he out of position? Why is he getting separated? That doesn't make any sense. That's just not good play. Don't do that. Slardar actually may be able to finish off Night Stalker here. Night Stalker getting finished off by Clockwork. Jump forward by Mirana, dodging that ultimate from Clockwork. Clockwork is going to need to retreat here, or else he's just going to get totally destroyed by that Mirana. He is taking so much damage right now that Diffusal Blade allowing her to hold him in position while she just pours it on with that Manta style. And to go back to what I was saying is even if it's just creep waves moving up, is it's damage to these towers, and that's pressure, that's positions that need to be defended and taken care of and nurtured, and that stretches the Radiant thin. And obviously the end goal is to get those towers down, and when you're stretching them out so they can't be in every place at once and doing everything they need to, you're taking the lead. So if we look at the gold differential, things have knocked back into the favor of the Dire. It's about 73k to 62k. Over on the gold per minute, we do see, looks like 450 for Nature's Prophet, 430 for Anti-Mage. Mushi clocking in at about 440. He is one of two team members over about 300. Anti-Mage getting caught here. He does blink out, and it looks like he will be able to escape without too much trouble. But again, he needs to be a little bit more careful because, if the Dire are in a very precarious position. They can win. They've got better farm. They've got better items. But they've got worse team fight. And their coordination is not as good. Obviously, we've got members of Orange here playing together, 3 of them. They're going to be very well coordinated. So if the Dire get into a position where they're getting caught in a team fight, bad things will happen. And so they need to be a lot more careful. This Anti-Mage needs to be more careful about not getting caught out in the middle of nowhere and just getting annihilated. Overall, the score is 43 to 42. But, the gold differential pretty significant and will be very difficult for the Radiant to overcome. Mirana has just finished her Butterfly, though. She does have Diffusal Mana Style Butterfly. See, a Heart has been finished on Sven. That's going to be a very powerful piece. Blink, Earthshaker working on a Scepter, but he probably will not finish that before the game ends. Anti-Mage with that Manta-style Lincolns and Eaglehorn so far. Ultimate Staff being worked on by Clockwork. He does have a Hood and some Arcane Boots. And then it looks like Slardar's getting pretty close to his Assault Cuirass. He does need about 700 more gold before he's ready to grab that. We see an arrow coming in, just barely missing everyone. Good attempt at initiating by Mirana. Good dodging by the members of the Dire. They are going to back off a little bit. And I'd like to see Nature's Prophet teleporting top and pushing top lane. Split pushing is a concept that's generally talked about in the League of Legends meta game. But with the Dota 2 meta being what it is right now, Nature's Prophet is just such a strong hero because he has that ability to assist in that split pushing and do a lot of exciting things with that teleport of his. So I'd like to see him up at the top, farming that top lane and pushing it back in. But since I do not have the ability to alter the past, nor am I telepathic or able to force other people to do what I want, it looks like, wow, Anti-Mage is going to go in. No, he's not. He's just screwing with me. He teleports back. Mirana getting caught here by that sheep stick. A lot of damage being applied. She does leap out of those cogs. Earthshaker with a big ultimate hitting Anti-Mage, Nature's Prophet, and Clockwork. A lot of damage going out. interrupted ultimate for the Witch Doctor. That is why you don't want to get that Scepter on him against this team. Witch Doctor does get Earthshaker down with that Maledict, and Anti-Mage getting Vengeful Spirit, Sven getting Witch Doctor, Mirana getting Slardar. Sven, looks like here comes the ultimate from Mirana. Mirana looking around, hungry for people to kill. They have teleported back for a couple other of them, and that is why you know. So what we can see there, if we look at these builds, is we see Witch Doctor with this Scepter. The Scepter is completely useless right now. You know, he spent a lot of money on it, and it's something that will not do him any good because the enemy team has stuns and silences and, you know, things that make you stop channeling. So that's just a poor item pick there. It looks like Night Stalker is going for that BKB. We'll have it fairly soonish. He's just sort of got the stray Vitality booster, which is a little questionable. Looks like Anti-Mage noticing that Roshan is up. Anti-Mage has finished his Butterfly, does grab the Illusion Rune, and will probably go in here and pop his Mana Style on top of that and try and take it out solo. He should be able to do that without too much trouble. Nature's Prophet teleporting into Lenahan. And Slardar still closing on working on closing the Assault Cuirass purchase. That should be happening pretty soon, I expect. We are just waiting for that to happen. It looks like Clockwork has finished his Aghanims. We see Lothar's for Profit, which is very confusing to me. I don't know. I guess maybe is an escape mechanism. But I mean, at 49-minute Lothar's on Nature's Prophet is like, well, okay. And it looks like Clockwork did finish off his ultimate staff. Again, I'd like to see... Well, let's take a look at what their gold per minute is like. Clockwork at about 263. I mean, it's not bad, it's not great. Clockwork has just died so many times that he's really a lot lower than he should be. He's at 313.21. So... looks like we do see both lanes pushed. This bottom lane is pushed and this top lane is pushed. Will we have an engagement here? Looks like Anti-Mage is just going to try and get in here and actually maybe push on the tower, pulling them out. The entire the entire Radiant team out of position. Big ultimate catching Witch Doctor as well as Nature's Prophet. Witch Doctor falling over pretty much instantly. Swap in by Vengeful Spirit as well as the stun. Nature's Prophet going down pretty much instantly to that Night Stalker. He uses his nuke to finish that off. And all of a sudden, two members of the Dire are dead. We've got an 80-minute cooldown for Nature's Prophet and a 50-minute cooldown for Witch Doctor. And it feels like things are slipping away from the Dire. The Dire are so far ahead in terms of gold, but if they just continue giving up these... We've reached a point where it's less about the gold and more about the fact that they're out of the fight, they're out of the game. You know, when you're in this late game, this 51-minute game, Mirana is able to take down a tower so fast. Sven's able to help her take down a tower so fast that it's less about like what you've got and more about just like, oh, well, you're dead for 60 seconds, now you can't save the tower, and they're just going to shove all the way up to our barracks. And we may see something resembling that. Wow, Mushi with the clutch jump in, grabbing that Illusion Rune, popping his Manta. Will he be able to figure out which one is the right one? Nope, because the right one is already gone. Blink away by that Mage Bane, Anti-Mage, and we will see some pressure coming out of the Sentinel team for the first time in this game. Essentially, they have never really done a full 5-man push, opting instead to play on the defensive, play careful, baiting a couple of abilities out of the enemy team with that illusion. Good play there. And Night Stalker doing as much damage as he can to the Anti-Mage, but the Anti-Mage is just so hard to kill. Mirana getting down, it looks like, no, will not get down that Clockwork. Mirana is popping her ultimate and retreating. That Anti-Mage is very, very hard to kill. Anti-Mage picking up Earthshaker. Probably gets... No, Sven goes down to Nature's Prophet. Anti-Mage getting Vengeful Spirit, though, with his ultimate. Clockwork barely surviving with about 300 health left. And Mirana forced to retreat. Unfortunately, that's just not the Just not the type of engagement that we've been seeing out of the that's not the normal type of engagement we've been seeing out of the Sentinel. They've usually done a very good job of making sure they are, you know, in position at the right time. There's a link for someone in IRC who did ask about it. It looks like we're just going to see, oh wow, Anti-Mage backdooring. That's a little disappointing. So this may just end the game right here. They're going to port in, and I guess technically it's not a backdoor because they had creeps in on the mid. Anti-Mage is just so farmed at this point with that, you know, Lincoln's makes him hard to kill. He is probably going to die here to that Mirana. They're not able to get her down, but he does have an Aegis. He's going to pop right back up. Mirana, with the buyback, Nature's Prophet got the kill initially. Anti-Mage is going to wake right up and start going to work again. Mirana already about half health here, even though she just bought back. I think this will be GG. There's just no way that they can counter that kind of power. Yeah, we see the first GG coming out. We see the Blade Mail activating by that Sven. That will probably be the end of this game right there. Yes, in fact, it does look like it is. Monster kill for Anti-Mage, and I expect that they will just rush up here and take out these towers with complete ease. So, great play by the Dire there. It was a very close game, pretty much throughout it. But, you know, Anti-Mage and Furion is just a very, very strong combination for, you know, late game abilities. Though the Furion did not, yeah, as Earthshaker says, is the power of a team who only farms and never pushes. They did a lot of farming, and the Sentinel were a little too passive there, and it came back to bite them in the butt. So let's go ahead and take a look at the final stuff. We're going to see what's going on here, see who got what. Looks like our leader for gold per minute will actually be Nature's Prophet. He's got about 524, 479 for Anti-Mage, 438 for Mushi on that Mirana. And yeah, Dire victory at 54 minutes and 14 seconds. So that was a good game. I did enjoy casting it. We will go ahead and finish that off. That VOD will be available on our new Ghost of Gamers website at play.ghostofgamers.net. It will also be on my personal YouTube, which you can find over on the right-hand side. Please be sure to follow me, subscribe to me on YouTube, follow me on Twitter, hit me up on Facebook, or join us on IRC. Well, and it's got to be an and, because I do want you to do all those things regardless of whether you join us on IRC. And join us on IRC. It is gg.dotacast on QuakeNet. You can also click that chat button down at the bottom of your screen. I am JerleMinara. We'll be right back after a couple of ads. See you in a second.